organization, the Music Education Group, has really allowed me to meet a lot of the people that I have met. Because again, our job with the Music Education Group is really to expose young people like yourselves to the wide variety of career options that are available to you, in music, film, and digital media. And I often, if you look at my social media pages, you'll see just me pictured with me, just tons and tons of different kinds of people. And so my friends always say, man, what do you do? What do you do? You have such a cool job. And I really have to tell them, look, I have friends with cool jobs. Most of my friends have some. I meet someone every week in this industry, and I'm like, man, I wish I would have did that. Man, I wish I would have did that. Why didn't I do that, right? There's so many opportunities available to you guys. And even through, being more social and giving back to your community, most people, especially celebrities, have nonprofit organizations because they're passionate about giving back to their community. For me, I just met so many young people who just always come up, I make beats. Who in here makes beats? Somebody. I make beats all day, right? So for me, instead of a young person that makes beats, I want you to understand that you have the understanding of what it is to be an engineer, right? If you know how to make beats. And as an engineer, these are your career opportunities rather than a young person that's just waiting, trying to sell a beat to someone, right? You've got many more opportunities available to you in music, film, and digital media. And Atlanta right now is the hotbed of all of that. Not just for performance, but now we're more known for the things that we create. We're a production hub of the Southeast. Our goal is to try to attract as many music, gaming, and film companies here as possible. This year alone, we made over $6 billion in movie projects. $6 billion. Our biggest challenge now statewide is we don't have enough people like yourselves to fill all of the jobs that are coming available in music, film, and digital media, right? Most of the time when they come here to film Spider-Man, they film it and then they take it back to New York or they take it back to Los Angeles because we don't have people who can do all the final editing and all of the creative stuff, right, that makes pictures come to life. That's what your opportunity is as a young person. It really is. So let's start. So this is a picture of Heavy D and the Boys. This guy here is DJ Eddie F. He's one of the founders of Heavy D and the Boys. They're an old school hip hop group. They had a ton of records in the late 80s and the late 90s. Before Eddie joined the group, he was successful right after high school, but he was always a computer guy. So before he became a record industry guy, he was always into computers. And he had promised his parents, who were both educators, that if he didn't make it successful in the music industry, that he'd go back to college. Their very first album sold over 500,000 copies. That's phenomenal. Even back then, you're talking the late 80s. So needless to say, they were really, really successful, right? We always talk about the shift from analog to digital, right? From tape. You guys know what a cassette is, right? You guys have seen a cassette. You may not have held one, right? To digital. And so in the late 80s, technology really began to change how music was made. I mean, fast, right? So it went from you having to actually go to a studio and work with a bunch of musicians with instruments. Now all of those instruments were put into a little machine, right? Now you've got all these instruments right there. When I was a DJ, I had to carry about 6 crates of records. Now, those 6 crates of records can go on your laptop. You can have tens of thousands of records in your laptop on a flash drive, right? Then the birth of the MP3, right, in the 1990s came about. What did the MP3 do for the music industry? It made it easier for us to transfer music, right? An MP3 is basically a compressed sound. When you start talking about music, you're going to become an expert in sound waves, how it's all linear, all of that cool stuff. You wouldn't think about it, but sound is actually a technology and science. Many people in the industry who did not embrace how things were changing got left behind. So you had a lot of people like myself. I was a DJ in high school and college, and in band. Then I went and worked in corporate America, and now all is past me. I'd be so lost in the DJ booth that it's like, unimaginable. So Eddie always had a love of technology. That love of technology led him to transition. You know, you're not going to make music forever, right? Some people do, don't get me wrong, but for most people, you got a certain amount of time that you're going to be in the industry that you can earn money. And if you don't learn about the business and how it works, then you're going to be left behind. He was also an executive for Uptown Records, LaFace Records, and more. These are some of the artists that he actually made music with. Tupac, P. Diddy actually slept on his floor for a couple of years before he became famous. TLC, Usher, Jennifer Lopez. And again, technology, guys, is the greatest driver in the changes in this music industry. And changes almost in every industry, but technology is the greatest driver by far in the changes in music. From the way we listen to music to the way we share music. And again, for those people in our industry who did not embrace technology at an early age, they really got left behind, okay? Let's see what this next one goes to. So his company now is EDF Developers. They've got offices here in Atlanta, they've got an office in Houston, and they've got an office, of course, in New York where he's born and raised. EDF Developers is they are a business systems integrations company. So right now he's in Houston. His company has created software which allows hospital systems to take their records and make them all digital. Does that make sense? So most of the time when you have your hospital records, it's paper, right? Bunch of paper. Well, most of the country now, especially with the, you guys heard of Obamacare, right? The Affordable Care Act, right? Mm-hmm. One of the tenets of that is to make sure that we transition from a paper society to more digital. And that's one of the things that his company does in Houston. He manages records for a couple of hospital systems, from music to that. But he's also, of course, working in the music industry still. He's making music and commercials for BET, McDonald's, for Jeep, and all of those different companies. The most successful people today in music are successful because of their side ventures, right? Jay-Z, right? Beats by Dre. Those companies, you know, Jay-Z's new company is Tidal. It's a streaming service. Dr. Dre and the Beats by Dre, he made way more money with Beats by Dre than he did in selling records. People like 50 Cent, who, again, were more entrepreneurial in their spirit. People like Nas, you guys may not have heard Nas, that might be a little bit older. But most of the most successful people in today's music industry are not necessarily successful because of the records that they made, but because of the technology companies that they have branched off into and started. Technology careers are the fastest growing careers in the music industry. And so while it's great to be able to make a record, records aren't really selling that much anymore. We're more into a streaming society. And so just kind of keep that in mind. You know, we want you to make records. I need you to make records. I need to put you on a stage somewhere, hopefully. But you have to know and understand that that content that you're creating has to be distributed. It has to get out to the masses. And the people who are creating systems and apps to make that possible are the ones who are much more successful in today's industry than ever before. Questions? And keep in mind, guys, I'm a science guy. I'm a biology guy. But my passion has always been music and education. And so working with the music education group gives me an opportunity to help young people like yourselves get a better understanding of where the industry is going in the future. It's like if you hear a record on the radio today and you're like, I'm going to make a record that sounds just like that. By the time it's played on the radio, it's old. It's time to think about something a little bit more. And so we want you to be more futuristic in your ideas. We want you to create the kinds of apps that will allow music sharing and transmission and all that cool stuff to work a little bit better.
What's the most exciting part of your career? I think that's a question for all of us to answer. I'll let you start.
Me? The most exciting part of my career is everything that they talked about I get to do. And I get to do it because we add service to it. I get to go to schools, I get to go to music concerts, I get to go to college clinics, The most exciting part of what I do is being able to do everything that includes the people in the community, because the people are why I'm here.
I would just say, you know, we're all in a relationship business. You guys hear that all the time, right? It's about relationships. The most exciting thing for me is getting to meet people like Ms. Todd, getting to meet people like Ms. Hicks. These two ladies are doing things to help me be a better person. We never stop learning. I'm a music guy. All I want to do is music. But if I'm going to be successful in a nonprofit setting, I've got to understand what it means to be passionate about giving back to your community. I've got to understand what it means to actually run a professional nonprofit organization. And so just getting to meet more professionals who want to help me grow is extremely exciting. Parties, guys, that can get so, when you're in your 50s,
done. I'm not there yet, we're done.
So I would say the most exciting part about my career is meeting people that may be professionals in sports and music and entertainment, and understanding that there's more to them than just their job, which is to have a hot 16 bars, or to play basketball somewhere, or to someone to be on TV. To meet people and understand that there's more to their life, that they want to give back, and being that person that they have chosen to not only help manage their money, $1 billion raised and managed, not only getting them, using their celebrity for them to utilize their tweet, and 1 million people could be connected to services or resources by the touch of their thumb, but to know that people like you all are looking for ways to let your gifts and your light shine. And so we are very honored to stand in front of you all this afternoon, and we look forward to coming back to speak to you all 3 more times this school year. So make sure that when you do receive this email with this link, that you complete it, so we will know how to better serve you in the next 3 sessions and shape our guest speakers and our presentation. 5 minutes, 4 presenters, 20 PowerPoint slides every 15 seconds in order to get you exposed and not for you, but to enlighten you. So thank you all for your time today. Are there any last questions before we dismiss?
Before we end, I would love to share one thing with you all. And I share this with you having worked in television and radio with all kinds of celebrities. Everyone in this room is a celebrity. Everyone in this room is a celebrity. The only difference between them and you is they have already worked on their craft, and they have earned many dollars doing it, so many people know about it. You too can be a celebrity if that is your aspiration. But as you decide what you want to do with your life, I encourage you to do what makes you happy, and all of that other fun stuff comes later, including celebrities.
Ms. Todd, I'd just like to interject. I'm not sure how many of the students know, but our county is huge when it comes to United Way. And it wasn't until you presented that I realized that we don't really communicate that to our students.
Yes.
The entire time that I've been a teacher, which is over 20 years now, I have always given to United Way. The vast majority of teachers in this county and in many of the metro counties are the same. We give from our paychecks directly to United Way.
Large amount.
And as a county, we do it. It wasn't until you started presenting that I realized, but we haven't really pushed that out to the students. And I hadn't never even thought about it, like
yes.
that our kids should be involved in that as well.
Absolutely.
So I'm glad that you presented that, and I hope you all realize that probably many of your parents actually give the United Way as well.
I'm probably in many of your parents' jobs every day talking to them about it. I actually started with United Way doing Gwinnett County Public Schools as my very first account. So, and you have your current LE right here in the room who is also managing it this year. Our world is very small. All of our moving parts connect. What's most important is that we remember technology is our way to expand our message, but humans are our way to grow. Please remember to connect with the people that are in your room and the ones that you see outside the door. Again, the average age of the homeless is 9 years old. It's 9 years old. So if there's anything that you can do, give, advocate, volunteer, talk about what you heard today, email me, ask me questions, but don't let this conversation and all of this joy that we've shared today, don't let it stop here, because all of it is for whose greater good?
You.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.